Brianna Hernandez is part of an elite group of volunteers known as Parent Mentors. Parent Mentors have long-term experience with their own chronically ill child or children at Cook Children's. Their experiences as a parent in the unit where their child was inpatient helps them to empathize with the unique and scary circumstances of other parents who currently have a hospitalized child with similar challenges. Brianna makes phone calls once a week to all the Pediatric Intensive Care Unit or PICU rooms to check in on the caregivers, offers basic hospital information such as cafeteria hours and laundry locations, answers questions, and points parents in the right direction of the appropriate department for any concerns they may have. In 2021 alone, Brianna placed over 450 phone calls to PICU rooms, which helped those parents and caregivers with reassurance and empathy that they needed from someone who had been in the same place they are now. She also followed up with those who had concerns and made sure that their questions were addressed by the appropriate departments, which made the caregivers feel heard. Brianna has also accepted multiple requests to do more one-on-one time with the caregiver based on a need identified by a clinical employee. In one example, Brianna was asked to mentor a mom who was anxious about an upcoming G-tube surgery. Brianna was able to step in and use her own experiences to help reassure the mother and calm her nerves. In addition to mentoring, Brianna also helps promote Cook Children's culture of family-centered care, which focuses on caring for and including the whole family as part of the child's medical journey. Brianna was part of a small group of parents who met virtually to develop and execute creative ways to bring awareness to Family-Centered Care Month, all while following COVID protocols. For her leadership and empathy for patients and families, we honor Brianna Hernandez as the 2021 Family Advisor of the Year. Ginger Lawhon has been a Women's Board member and volunteer since 2015 with 490 hours, and Andrea Carrington since 2016 with 340 hours. Both have very successfully chaired the Cards for Kids project for the past 2 years. Their goal is to create more awareness of the project, but of most importance, further educate the public about our wonderful hospital. Cards for Kids is a fundraiser run by the Women's Board. Funds are donated to Cook Children's for the purchase of medical equipment, playground equipment, ambulances, security vehicles, and much more. The Women's Board also donates in support of multiple non-funded projects like the Baby Bookworms Reader Program and the Parent Pantry. Cards for Kids has quite a history and remains one of relevance to patients who produce art through the Creative Artist in Residence program, or CARPE. The art, in turn, is reproduced in the form of all occasion and holiday greeting cards. The cards are sold in the Enchanted Castle gift shop, at community events, and through the Cards for Kids website. Working together, Andrea and Ginger receive art designed by Cook Children's patients. They have the artwork photographed and then see that it is added to the website. As in previous years, teachers in the Fort Worth area have been contacted asking if students could provide new art for the project. The art would be a gift from the students, further exposing them to the magic of the hospital, a win-win for everyone. These two ladies love to organize. This past summer, they packed up the Cards for Kids office in the building on West Terrell Avenue, then moved and unpacked everything in a beautiful new space in the basement of the main building, a space that will allow for the expansion of the program into the future. Cards are continually stocked and sold year-round in the gift shop. Overstock cards have been donated to nonprofit agencies such as Union Gospel Mission, United Community Centers, and Meals on Wheels. Andrea and Ginger personally reach out to previous customers and have even sent Valentine cards created by the children as a thank you. Their motto is to always keep Cards for Kids out there. For their dedication and service, we honor Andrea Carrington and Ginger Lawhon as the 2021 Women's Board Volunteers of the Year. Kristen Jepson Hall began to volunteer as a Camp Sanguinity counselor in the summer of 2015. Camp Sanguinity is a camp specially designed for children with medical challenges where Kristen was an immediate success with her campers. Her positive attitude, easy smiles, and infectious laughter draw campers to her, allowing themselves to be caught up in her fun and adventuresome spirit. Kristen is always looking for ways to help them enjoy themselves, build new friendships, and get the most out of the week of camp that they can. She totally immerses herself in the camp experience, and each year that she's back, she brings new ideas and opportunities to create therapeutic spaces for her cabin of campers as well as her co-counselors. It's a fun thing to be in the cabin that Kristen's in, and her campers know and appreciate that. From the very beginning, Kristen also participated as one of the leaders in Camp's Sign Language Project, an opportunity for campers to learn how to use sign language to interpret a song. She even led that project one summer when the other lead was unable to come to camp. These last 2 years, when we've only been able to provide a virtual camp experience, she has created project videos, still teaching campers how to sign a song. These are not easy videos to create, and yet she made them look effortless, still engaging campers with her positive attitude and helpful gaze. Kristen's commitment to camp also gave her the opportunity to serve on the board of Friends of Camp Sanguinity, which she did from 2018 to 2019, participating on the Counselor Appreciation Committee during her tenure on the board. Kristen is a natural as a camp counselor. Her flexibility, positivity, and engaging personality are the perfect combination to help campers feel more at ease, forget any homesickness, and willing to open up to all the amazing things that can happen at camp. The campers she's had in her cabin over the years have definitely felt her acceptance and warmth, which is truly what is treasured most, bringing out the true magic of camp. That is Kristen's gift. For her inspiring spirit and unwavering commitment to her campers, we honor Kristen Hall as the Camp Sanguinity Volunteer of the Year. Lynn Doherty took on the role of volunteer supervisor 3 years ago when a need arose in the cardiology clinic for volunteer support. She has many things on her plate and needed help getting simple tasks done that she did not have time to focus on, such as filing, making copies, etc. Rob, a new volunteer to Cook Children's, took on this role and has nothing but great things to say about volunteering for Lynn. He describes her as kind, compassionate, caring, inclusive, and respectful. These are all important traits to have as a supervisor in order to create a successful, positive work environment for any volunteer, and Lynn makes it look effortless. Rob describes Lynn as someone who knows just how to make the volunteers feel like part of the team, inviting them to team lunches and get-togethers. Lynn also stays on top of making sure the volunteers know about anything in cardiology clinic that comes up regarding their volunteer role. She consistently lets her volunteers know how appreciated they are for each and every shift and how much help they are to not only her, but to the flow of the clinic as well. She makes time to come by and visit the volunteer when they first arrive and chat with them. Lynn makes it a priority to build a connection with her volunteers because she is truly concerned and cares about them as a person as well as a volunteer. Rob is quoted as saying that, "She makes me look forward to coming in each week. It is a pleasure to help her and her team." Now, any supervisor whose volunteer staff look forward to their workday is doing a lot of things very right. For her compassion and leadership, we honor Lynn Doherty as the 2021 Volunteer Supervisor of the Year. Pam Gray has been a NICU baby buddy for the past 11 years and became a NICU mentor to new volunteers 9 years ago. She has given over 1,900 volunteer hours and continues to share her good heart with patients, parents, staff, and new volunteers every week. As a NICU baby buddy, Pam comforts and snuggles some of the tiniest patients so that the parents can take a break or go home. They know their baby is in good hands when Pam is around. Pam knows just how to hold and soothe these babies and is not scared of all the wires and tubes they may be hooked up to. Pam has even gone through a special training to know just how to handle and hold babies who are born with a drug addiction. Although those situations can be emotional and stressful to most, Pam handles them with ease and her ever-present smile. She has also become instrumental in promoting the Baby Bookworms Initiative in the NICU, a program where volunteers read to infants. In 2019, Pam was featured on Clarice Tinley's Hometown Heroes on Fox 4 News as part of the Baby Bookworms Reader Program. Pam became a volunteer mentor just 2 years after starting in the NICU. As a mentor, she trains new volunteers to serve in the NICU. They spend a shift shadowing Pam and watching her throughout her afternoon. Pam was chosen for this role because she is compassionate, hardworking, reliable, patient, and a leader among her peers. She is a vital part of a new volunteer's training, touring them around the NICU, demonstrating how to gown, glove, and mask, and how to hold infants that have many types of equipment hooked up to them. Pam wants new volunteers to feel confident in their new role, so she makes herself available for extra shadowing time, more training, or anything else needed. Pam happily obliges every need, wanting success for all new NICU volunteers, which gives the NICU many more Pams to take outstanding care of the babies in the unit. For her dedication and example, we honor Pam Gray as the 2021 Mentor Volunteer of the Year. Kim Zaksic started volunteering with Cook Children's because she was interested in a career change and wanted to become a child life specialist. She has persevered during a time when, due to limited opportunities because of the pandemic, would make others quit trying, but Kim continued to push on and make it work. It is obvious in her time volunteering that becoming a child life specialist is not just a career change for Kim, but a passion that she truly enjoys and is a natural at. Since October of 2021 to the end of December 2021, she had already completed over 100 hours of volunteer service, more than double the amount asked of any volunteer in a year's time. Kim helps the child life staff on 5 North Tower, the hematology and oncology inpatient unit. She checks in on the patients who are alone, hangs out with them, plays games with them, or finds a craft activity for them to work on. She also supports the parents by getting items they may need, such as shampoo or toothpaste, and also stays with the child so the parents can take a break to get lunch or some fresh air. No task is too big or too small for Kim. She finds value in all things done for patients, families, and staff. She is always willing to help in any way she can. Kim also helps to clean and organize the toys on the unit, a task that is not very exciting, but is a huge help to the staff and vital in maintaining a safe environment. When Kim knows extra help is needed on another day, or they have a special request for a patient who is alone, even if it is not her normal day to volunteer, she will come in to help. Kim even came in to volunteer on Christmas Eve because she knew it would be a busy day for staff. Her presence was the best present Child Life staff could have hoped for. For her dedication and passion for the patients, we honor Kim Zaksic as the 2021 Newcomer Volunteer of the Year. Karen Cobb started volunteering with Cook Children's in 2018 at the information desk. She made flower and balloon deliveries to patient rooms, helped direct families to their destinations, and helped in the Family Resource Center on various projects. When the pandemic began in March 2020, Karen, like all the other volunteers, were asked to put volunteering on hold for a while for their own safety. In October 2020, when it was safe for volunteers to return, Karen jumped on the opportunity. Due to COVID, many of the processes at the information desk had changed and a lot more was added to the role in order to help ensure the facility was as safe as possible from COVID. Many new processes had started while Karen was gone, such as taking temperatures, asking COVID questions, and calling various departments to get information on whether the person could enter the hospital. It may sound simple, but the situations were often complicated and complex in nature, and, at times, visitors could become upset because new visitation rules had to be enforced by staff and volunteers at the desks. Still, Karen stayed at the desk and continued to be a tremendous support. In addition to volunteering at the desk, Karen also volunteers with the hospitality cart. The cart provides self-care and comfort items as well as activities to parents and caregivers. Karen stocks the cart and then takes the cart from room to room on the inpatient units as she checks in on the caregivers. She makes sure the caregivers have the toiletries they need, but also offers a handmade blanket or crossword puzzle to help make their stay a little more comfortable. Karen was so reliable and trustworthy that her supervisor asked her to be a volunteer mentor for the hospitality cart, so she now also trains new volunteers to stock the cart and make rounds. In December 2021, Karen was ready for a change from the information desk, so when a call went out asking for volunteers to help escort patients and families from registration to their designated area, Karen volunteered to help. Karen provides a kind and caring presence. She loves to talk to the patients and families as she escorts them, knowing that it helps ease their stress. Karen shows them the hospitality she knows she would like to be shown in their situation. For her kindness and desire to be of comfort, we honor Karen Cobb as the 2021 Helping Hands Volunteer of the Year. David French has been a volunteer at Cook Children's Home Health Fort Worth location for 8 years. His supervisor describes him as smart, hardworking, efficient, and as having a heart to help. David volunteers between 150 to 200 hours a month and is always asking for more he can do to help. In fact, he has also volunteered for multiple pop-up projects over the years. David has given over 9,000 volunteer service hours and still counting. He became a Golden Heart volunteer in 2017 upon reaching 2,500 hours and received Distinguished Golden Heart recognition for having the most volunteer hours that year. David was not able to volunteer during the more severe COVID months, which he was disappointed about. His commitment to the home health team is 110%, which they witness regularly. In fact, the home health team recognized David for his excellent service in June 2015 with their own homegrown award from their team. David is an accomplished artist who also has a heart for service. As part of his assignment, David makes packets for each patient that comes in for a home health appointment. While this may sound simple, the packets can be rather complex because they are unique to the services each particular patient receives. David provides a service that positively impacts the patients, families, and staff and allows for a steady patient flow. Home health staff know they can count on him to be there and to get every packet assembled correctly. His near daily presence in the office ensures that staff can focus on more specialized aspects of their work, while David takes care of patient packets. For his dedication and perseverance, we honor David French as the 2021 Service Excellence Helping Hands Volunteer of the Year. Christy Scanlon started volunteering with Cook Children's 5 years ago. A retired nurse, Christy has devoted over 1,420 volunteer hours, with 258 of those hours completed in 2021 alone. Her supervisors describe her as a self-starter, autonomous, motivated, reliable, dependable, and supportive. Those qualities are the recipe for an amazing volunteer, and Christy has certainly been that. Christy volunteers her time on 3 Main, the cardiology unit, where she also serves as a mentor to new volunteers, and in the neonatal intensive care unit, or NICU, with our most fragile patients. In the NICU, Christy holds the tiniest of patients each week, giving the babies lots of love, cuddles, and reading to them when their parents or caregivers cannot be at the hospital. When the supervisors know it is Christy's day to come in, they know that she can be relied on and that the babies will be well cared for. On 3 Main, Christy does a wonderful job rounding on the floor and seeing if the patients need anything like someone to play with, or she holds a fussy baby who just had cardiac surgery. When all the patients have been checked on and cared for, Christy will clean toys to ensure they are safe for other patients to use, or check in with the Child Life staff to see if they need help with anything. In July 2021, Christy was recognized by her supervisors as being a great role model and someone they could trust to train new volunteers. They asked her to be a volunteer mentor, and she graciously agreed to add that role. When a new volunteer is scheduled for that unit, the information is sent to Christy, and she sets up a time to meet with them, answer any questions they may have, show them around on the floor, and walk through all of the various things the volunteer will do. The new volunteers always walk away feeling well prepared to be on their own, thanks to Christy's support. For her initiative and support, we honor Christy Scanlon as the 2021 Patient Care Volunteer of the Year. Steve Stelter has been a Cook Children's volunteer for the past 8 years and has given over 2,400 hours to patients, families, and staff in the Child Life Zone and the Surgery Recovery Unit. Staff describe Steve as reliable, honest, caring, and trustworthy. He takes the initiative, starts on projects, and works until they are completed. He is completely committed to his volunteer role, often offering to come in on days he isn't scheduled, knowing help is needed with the various tasks or filling in for another volunteer. His role in the Child Life Zone is to interact with the patients and families that come in, help facilitate craft hour, and help the studio during game show broadcasts on the hospital's CLZ TV channel. When COVID restrictions had to be put in place, Art Hour was not able to happen in person anymore. In order to allow the kids to still enjoy craft activity time, Steve would pack 300 bags a week with everything needed for a specific craft activity. The bag would then be delivered to the patients in their rooms. Thanks to Steve, the patients were able to watch the craft hour on their TV via the CLZ channel and had all the supplies needed to participate and complete their project. Steve also volunteered to help with donations during the winter holidays, the busiest donation time of the year. He sorted donated toys, books, games, and puzzles and helped bag them for the patients. This can be a very tedious and sometimes strenuous job because it requires a lot of walking, lifting heavy boxes, and moving toys and boxes back and forth to different locations. After the toy frenzy, Steve helped pack up the extra toys that are used throughout the year and move the boxes to storage. Steve is truly committed to his volunteer role. He was one of the first volunteers back from the imposed COVID hiatus when volunteers could finally return, and even offered to stay on during the worst of the pandemic, more concerned for our needs than anything else. Steve is definitely all in, and we could not be more grateful to him. For his dedication and devotion, we honor Steve Stelter as the 2021 Service Excellence Patient Care Volunteer of the Year. Elizabeth Finsell is employed in Cook Children's Finance Department. She is also a licensed cosmetologist who volunteers her time after work, cutting hair for patients on 5 North Tower, the Hematology and Oncology Unit, and 4 North Tower, the Transitional and Rehab Inpatient Unit. These 2 floors have many patients who have been hospitalized for a long time and are immunocompromised or who can't get out of bed due to their medical limitations. Some of the situations Elizabeth helps with are children on chemotherapy who are losing their hair, others who have been in bed so long that they have huge knots and mats in their hair, and babies that have lived most of their first year in the hospital and need their first haircut. When staff call on Elizabeth to help with the haircut, she springs into action and rearranges her schedule to make it happen. Where most hairstylists might be put off by working around multiple medical devices or medical situations, Elizabeth dives right in, appropriately cautious. She is supportive, empathetic, and understanding that these particular haircuts can be very stressful and emotional for both the parents and families. She makes it as easy and stress-free as possible. The lasting impact she has made on the patients and families she has helped is something they will always carry with them. One example was when she helped a young patient and his father through a very difficult time. The patient had been recently diagnosed with cancer and was hospitalized while getting chemo treatments. Due to the chemo, his hair started to fall out. The patient's father worked out of state but wanted to show his son that he loved and supported him. Since he couldn't be there in person, Elizabeth arranged a FaceTime meeting with Dad so they could get their heads shaved at the same time. While Elizabeth was cutting the patient's hair, Dad was also getting his hair cut. For her patience, empathy, and expertise, we honor Elizabeth Finsell with the 2021 Paul Wallace Award. Mary Gravel has shared her heart with the patients and families of Cook Children's for the past 18 years. When she first arrived, Mary volunteered in the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, or NICU, waiting room. There, she provided comfort and support to patients and families who had little ones in the unit. Her calming presence and reassuring tone meant so much to worried family members. Mary then served as a sitter to patients whose parents had to be gone for a while. Again, her presence comforted and distracted children who otherwise would have been alone. It was in 2008 that Mary found her niche in the Bomar Library for Children, and she has been there ever since. Whether putting new books into the database, checking books in and out to patients, or reshelving books read, Mary does so with pride and enthusiasm. She never hesitates to go the extra mile, as she and fellow library assistant Glenna Naiswadami demonstrated several years ago. Their supervisor was scheduled to pick up a donation of new books in Irving, but had made another commitment that made it impossible. So Mary and Glenna graciously agreed to drive out to Irving. A generous heart runs in the Gravel family, as Mary's husband offered to go along to carry the heavy boxes of books. So, in addition to her regular volunteer hours, Mary donated her weekend time, gas, and her husband to the cause. As her supervisor stated at the time, quote, "We have many amazing volunteers here at Cook Children's, and acts like this remind me how very lucky we are." And we could not agree more. With over 3,200 volunteer hours, Mary has demonstrated her devotion to Cook Children's patients, families, and staff time and again. Mary has been the recipient of the monthly ABCD, or Above and Beyond the Call of Duty Award, more than once, and became a Golden Heart volunteer at the completion of 2,500 hours in 2018. Mary has also been volunteering during the COVID pandemic, which kept many volunteers away. In fact, Mary has been the sole volunteer in the Bomar Library throughout the majority of the pandemic. It is thanks to her that the Bomar Library has been open to patients and families and able to keep up with cataloging new book donations. Mary exemplifies what a lifetime of service to others looks like. Giving of herself, whether through a book, companionship, or a kind word, is who she is. For her complete devotion to others, we honor Mary Gravel with the Cook Children's Lifetime Achievement Award.